What's going on, people? Story time with TRB. Tell y'all a story. There was this kid that was born in San Diego, California. He was born with crack cocaine in his system. Mother was a crackhead. Daddy was absent in his life. At the tender age of whatever age you are in elementary, instead of going to elementary school every day, this kid went to the Roach Coaches that was by his house, which you can look up on Market Street in San Diego, California. Excuse me. And instead of going to elementary school, this kid used to clean out the Roach Coaches, and they would give him the leftover food that they had. Instead of going to elementary school or being asleep at night to go to elementary school, this kid was at a place called KB Donuts. This might be KD Donuts now. And when the donut shop closed, he would go in the back and he would help clean up the donut shop. They would give him the leftover donuts. When this kid did go to elementary school, he was way behind because he did not know what was going on. Not only did he not know, his clothes was dirty because his mama was a crackhead that was using him for a check. The kid was a thief, magnificent thief. Used to steal all kinds of stuff. Underwear, pants. He would go into places like Payless and he would take off his old Payless shoes, put on some new Payless shoes, and walk out like those Payless shoes was his. This kid also used to steal food, deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrushes, and a variety of needed necessities in order for him to live what he thought was a normal life. At this time, before things like codeine was a thing, his mama used to give him a note, send him up to this medical place that was up the street from where he lived at. And he used to come back with these purple bottles. Didn't know what they was for, and give them to his mama. He would eat stuff like noodles, shredded meats out of big metal containers. Welfare kid. It had the welfare cheese. This kid also would skip school a lot because school was not a priority to him or his parent at the time. One day, this kid stole some deodorant and some blue jeans and a pack of M&Ms from Woolworths at Parkway Plaza in San Diego, California. And he ended up getting caught. And when he got caught, they called his mom. And his mom said, just bring him home. So they brung me home. When he gets home, his mom says, hey, you have a sister. What do you want to name her? So the little boy said, I don't know, name her Star. Because at the time he was a child. He liked stars. He liked the moons and the planets and science fiction. And so Star was taken immediately because she was born with crack cocaine in her system. This young man used to come home to his mama sitting on the couch smoking a glass pipe. Well, a few months go by. I take that back. Maybe about a year or so goes by, and his skinny crackhead mama said, you have a brother on the way. What do you want to name him? The boy said, I don't know, Michael, because he was watching Michael Jackson. The boy was born, and the boy was taken and put in foster care because he had crack cocaine in his system. Forward down the line, the boy ended up stealing something and got caught one more time. No, I take that back. He didn't get caught. The boy was being manipulated by some older male teens to steal for them, until the boy wised up and said, well, why am I stealing stuff for you to take to your house when I don't have a Nintendo at my house? Then the boy ended up being out past curfew for a child that age, which was an everyday thing for him because he had no guidance, no parenting, nobody there to guide him. The boy was just running wild, doing what he felt like he needed to do in order to survive. Well, the police ended up picking the boy up because he was walking on a dark road in the middle of some random neighborhood. The police pick him up, take him home, and the police said, I will be back, because the parent wasn't at the house, but the door was open. The police officer came back, knocked on the door. I answered the door. The boy mother was in the bed, asleep. Police officer walked in the house and looked around and realized this house doesn't have any furniture in it. Where do you sleep? The boy said, in that room right there on the floor. The officer walks to the back, see dirty clothes in a pile where the boy slept at. The officer then proceeds to walk to the refrigerator, where he noticed the only thing that was in the refrigerator was a jar of mayonnaise. The officer said, son, come with me. So the boy walks with the officer out of the apartment complex, which was called Crestwood Apartments. No, I'm sorry, not Crestwood Apartments. It was something start with a C. And as we walked out, the officer said, watch your step, because there was burnt glass pipes on the ground. The officer put me in the car and took me to what's considered now a group home. Now, the mother of this boy never came to look for him, never asked where he was at, never searched for him. Really, now that you think about it, as an older individual, just never really cared. So now the boy is thrown into the foster system, and he's in a group home with the other kids, and the boy is now mingling with a variety of races, a variety of backgrounds, with a variety of adults and children. The boy is learning as he goes through foster care and being passed around from foster home to foster home that everybody looks at him as a check. The boy is with one group home, foster home, where they didn't buy him any clothes. All they did was took him to a school, brought him from school, and told him to stay in his room. So the boy got used to solitude. Then when the boy gets taken from a foster home and put in a group home, the boy got used to being in a social setting. Then the boy started to understand the role that he's playing with these random families that he's staying with, where you are considered as a check. You are not family. You are not friend. We're using you to pay for this house. We're using you to pay for this food. We're using you to pay for our oldest child to go to college. We're using you as extra income. You are a stream of income. You are not to aspire to be more or want more. Just sit here, be quiet. We're going to feed you the bare minimum, and we're going to collect a check. Eventually, the boy ends up going to another group home where he starts to hear a variety of music being played. Now all of a sudden the boy likes rap and R&B, but now he's hearing techno every day. Now he's hearing rock and roll every day, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, and different things like that. Then the boy eventually gets flown down to Jackson, Mississippi, to a family whose everybody has the same last name except for him. In Jackson, Mississippi, the boy starts to learn the meaning of family, Southern hospitality, The boy gets whooped and beat because he does not say yes sir and no sir. Eventually the boy does. The boy gets beat because he does not show respect. He never had to, because there was never anybody around to respect. But he learns it. The boy is now living with his father. And as the boy lives with his father, he notices that he gets treated the same way that he got treated in foster home. Not necessarily intentionally. He looks at all of his cousins out there having fun. They're going to the teenage clubs. They're wearing the nice clothes. This boy has 3 pair of jeans and 3 shirts. Even though we have a washer and dryer, he washes them out in the tub because he's not allowed to use the washer and dryer. As the boy goes to junior high, they had to figure out what grade to put him in because they couldn't get his elementary records. And they asked, why can't we find your elementary records? But the boy was a liar. He said, I don't know, not telling them that he never really went to elementary school. So now the boy's in junior high, and he's growing like a sprout. He's just growing and growing. But yet the clothes that he wears does not grow. So when he comes home to a house with no electricity because his father goes to work at night, the boy gets home at 3 o'clock. The father needs to be at work at 3:30. The father leaves a pack of Top Robin and a pack of hot dogs out on the stove and says, go cook this at grandma's house next door before the sun goes down, because there was no electricity in the house. There was electricity, but because he built his own house, the power box was in his room that he kept locked. So when he goes to work, he would cut the electricity off because he didn't want me to use excess electricity in the house. The only electricity that was on was behind the refrigerator, and this little boy had a little clock radio that he stole, and he would plug it into the back of the radio, in the back of the plug that was powering the refrigerator. And he would sit and he would listen to music. And then before he gets ready to go to bed, he would unplug the little clock radio and hide it. And where he would hide it, the boy didn't have a mattress. The boy slept on a box spring. The boy was emotionally damaged, so therefore he peed in the bed a lot. And unfortunately, it's kind of like, why would I buy you a mattress and a box spring when all you're gonna do is pee in the bed? Not understanding that he had emotional issues, he just accepted it. And because he peed in the bed and on the box spring, the springs, when he rolled over, would light up because it was rusted and sparked. The boy was afraid of his father. Then the father would eat steak, shrimp, and potatoes. The boy would eat hot dogs with no buns. The father would eat steak, shrimp, and potatoes. The boy would eat Top Robin. Come Christmas time, the cousins would get fantastic gifts. The boy would get a sweater. Come Christmas time, comes Thanksgiving. Now, the boy's grandparents loved him. They tried to teach him. The cousins loved him, but they didn't understand. The auntie understood, and she loved him, and she tried, but she couldn't, because I didn't understand. Now you're like, why am I telling these random stories about my life? So I want you to understand that no matter who you were, if you are alive, you can still become who you want to be. The boy eventually, it got to the point to where the father gave the boy $100, and the boy, and said, go buy you some shoes. The boy was ecstatic. He never had a chance to have name brand shoes. The boy had XJ900s, Spaldings, or whatever Payless had on sale. So the boy went and bought him some Reeboks, Patrick Ewings, high tops, black and white. He had change left over from the shoes, so he went and bought deodorant, toothpaste, a wave cap, some Duke wave grease. And when he came home and the father said, "Where's my change?" The boy said, "Father, I didn't know you wanted change. I thought the $100 was for me to get school supplies." And he said, "Well, what kind of shoes did you get?" And with fire step and just glee, just as happy as he want to be, he runs in like, "I got these right here," because the boy actually got some name brand shoes. The boy wakes up in the morning and he wants to just try on his new shoes. He can't find his new shoes. That's because father put his new shoes on and wore them to work. So I had to go back and put on those old XJ900s. The only way that I can actually grow as a person is I had to escape. And there was a plan concocted for me to escape my father and come back to San Diego. So my brother in San Diego sent for me. Greyhound. We didn't tell father. Me and one of my aunties. They put some bologna, cheese, and crackers in a little bag that was purple and pink. And said, "We're taking him, we're gonna take him to the store with us." And they dropped me off at the Greyhound. And at this time, I was going into 9th grade. And I sat on that Greyhound for about 4 or 5 days, because must have been the cheapest ticket they had possible. And I ate bologna, cheese, and crackers, not understanding that there's no refrigerator. And there's nothing to put the bologna in. I just had to put the top back on it just to get back down to San Diego. So, if you feel as if you cannot change who you are because of who you was, you are absolutely wrong. This is just a tidbit of my upbringing. Not to mention, and some of y'all might know, the old rape vans that ride around with the kids in it that used to sell the candy. Yep, I did that too. In San Diego. Dude used to pick me and about 10 other kids up in a raper's van. I didn't know what a raper's van was. All I know was this guy gave me a Tupperware full of candy and a script and sold me to go door to door. He would give me $1 for every $5 pack that I would sell. To me, it was money. But in actuality, it trained me to be able to talk to strangers. It trained me to be able to understand, watch the mannerisms of an individual. So even though my life might sound like crap at the time, the skills that I've gained from that hardship is invaluable, because now I get to sit here on YouTube and relate to thousands of people on a variety of subjects. So don't ever feel like you can't change who you are. As long as you're alive, you can become the person you want to be. You just need to understand how. And every failure is an opportunity to learn. Every hardship is an experience to enlighten you on what and what not to do next time. So I just felt like sharing that with y'all, because I feel like there's somebody out there that's using their circumstances and situations as an excuse not to get out here and prosper. I've said it once and I say it again. If you are 21 and over and you feel like you're in a situation where you cannot escape, where you're dependent on people to provide for you, and you feel like you're bound, you can't express yourself, because if you express yourself, you're going to end up taking food out of your mouth you're going to end up not having a place to live. Come drive truck. Come drive truck. That way, once you start gaining income and not worrying about where you're going to rest your head and how you're going to feed yourself, you will become a better person. Not only will you become a better person, there's going to be a crossroads where you're going to end up either choosing to be an isolated individual or a social individual. There is some middle ground. But doing trucking, you can be an isolated individual. Focus on yourself, what makes you happy, what makes you a person, what makes you unique in this world, what kind of goals you want to aspire to be, what kind of person you want to aspire to be. There's also a social aspect, like getting on YouTube or at these truck stops, or building a new circle of friends that are focused on what it is that you want to focus on. It's okay to keep the hood around you, but you need to be focused on something better. So it's okay to go back to the hood and try to inspire your people. But you need to surround yourself with people that are like-minded. I want to drive trucks. I want to prosper. I want to do real estate. I want to own business. I need to surround myself with people who's trying to do that, trying to learn that, and trying to become something more than a W-2. I want to be around people that wants to have their name on equipment and buildings. Their name, or whatever name they choose to go by. I want to be around people that are ambitious, that aspire to be more than just okay. They want to be well off. I want to be surrounded by people that has a aha, that's mine. My name is on it. I am successful. I will be successful. I own that. I lease that as a tax write-off. I use that for this. I use that for that. I want to be surrounded by people that's not using their life or their past to dictate their future. Just saying. I have every reason. Like there's not a lot of people that know the whole story as far as my life goes, but there are one or two that got a good idea of it. Muffin Miss is one of them. Muffin Miss is one of them. So don't let your past dictate your future. Become a better man than what you are now. And also, be sure to trying to figure out how to relay it so you can understand. Stun on them. Stun on them. You hear me? Stun on them. For all the people that used you, that said you wasn't gonna be nothing, all the people that's just stun on them. You ain't even gotta, you add them as friends on Facebook, and then as they see you on your vacations, or they see you equipment, your real estate, or whatever business that you want to partake in, they see the stock, they see the growth. You know? Yeah, I did that without your help. On my own. It's TRB. I'm out of here. Y'all be easy. Remember, don't let your past dictate your future. If you are in a situation where you feel stuck, come drive truck. There's the motto. If you're in a situation where you feel stuck, come drive trucks. Regardless if you want to be OTR, regional, local, or what division of trucking you want to go in, it doesn't matter. Trucking is a way to finance whatever it is that you want to do, and to laugh in the face of those people who look down on you, that try to belittle you when you start stunning them.